Welcome to this week's edition of Ignite News. I'm Tori Blissmo.
And I'm Christina Costable.
This past week was International Education Week at Mohawk College.
And a couple of our colleagues had the opportunity to experience different cultures, including eating bugs.
Bugs? Ew!
Yeah, check it out.
International Education Week introduced Mohawk students to different cultures. The week is dedicated to educate other students through music, fashion, and authentic treats.
Nigeria has the highest population, is the most populous black nation. Nigeria is a wonderful country. We have different culture. We have over 250 languages in Nigeria. So that means we have different cultures, so it's a country of so many people coming together as one. It's important for students to learn about different cultures so we can, this is an international community, so we can relate well with people, understand their background, and be able to relate with them accordingly. And also to be able to accommodate them better, not to find them weird or unsocial. It's just their culture, and no culture is really superior to another.
Yeah, I like everything about this event because when you get together with your friends, even if they are not from your country, they are all from different countries, different areas, and you can explore their culture, you can explore their food, you can explore their whole everything, you know. So it's always basically fun.
We have some games. We have the Ayo game. It's a Yoruba game. That's a culture in Nigeria. And basically, it's an old game that people really enjoy playing, really fun. We have some artifacts, some music, some artists from Nigeria. And then we're displaying Nigerian culture. The ladies on headgear, the traditional attires, those all represent Nigeria. Nigerians are fun people. We love to relate with people. We like to have events, play music, and dance.
Reporting from Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Hando.
Mohawk College recently held International Education Week, and part of the event was exposing people to different cultures and foods. One thing on the menu was bugs.
Actually, this is my 5th year being here. What I'm here to do is to end the ick factor. I really want to open people's minds up to eating insects as food. They're the most sustainable protein source, so by introducing people to it in a very gentle way with cookies and chocolates, hoping to change some opinions on eating insects.
Students brave enough to try one of the bug treats were surprised by the taste.
I tried the chocolate and chipotle or spicy cricket thing, and it was actually really good. You didn't taste the crickets, like you got the crunch of them, but it was mostly just the dark chocolate that you tasted.
I had dark chocolate with crickets inside. It was pretty good. It was kind of flaky, but I could mostly taste the chocolate when I love chocolate, so that was okay.
Bugs are high in protein and taste, but they're also a sustainable source of food.
You can produce millions and millions of crickets for consumption with a fraction of the amount of water, energy. You don't need any pesticides to grow crops. You don't need crops at all other than some vegetables. So in that way, they're very sustainable. And like any other major crop, like cattle, chicken, pork, all of them create a huge footprint in comparison to insects.
So try something new. Reporting for Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Josh Stewart.
I'm joined by Josh. So I never would have thought of eating a bug. How was that experience?
You know, it was actually pretty good. They're kind of nutty tasting and they're pretty crunchy, but overall, it was good.
So why should people eat bugs?
Well, they're an incredibly high source of protein. That shake I had actually has more protein in it than your typical whey protein shake.
Wow, so I guess I have to try it one day, but it won't be anytime soon, that's for sure. But there's been a lot happening at Mohawk College and in the Hamilton area. Let's take a look.
Philomena Tassi, the Member of Parliament for Hamilton West and Castor Dundas, visited Mohawk College on November 18th. The newly elected Liberal MP got a behind-the-scenes tour of some of the innovative classrooms, labs, and public spaces at Mohawk's Fennell campus.
And I can give you an overview of what happens there, if that works.
So this is, I call this the fun zone.
One of the highlights on this tour was a stop at Mohawk's Multisensory Lab. The room fosters an environment that blends sights, sounds, textures, aromas, and motion to provide stimulation of one's primary senses. This is to help clients reach and advance their education and therapy goals. The tour focused on how Mohawk is engaging community and employer partners on initiatives and projects in areas such as Aboriginal education, applied research, e-health, and international education. Tassie has a strong interest in the needs of the Indigenous community. She developed a youth exchange program to build awareness and compassion between Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal youth.
What we do is we provide expertise around how would you design such systems, how would you implement systems.
Mohawk is leading the charge in asking the new Liberal government to support infrastructure projects for post-secondary institutions. The college hopes the federal government will include post-secondary institutions in its national infrastructure strategy. Reporting for Mohawk Journalism, I'm Christiana Machado.
From October 3rd to February 13th, the Dundas Museum and Archives will be home to a very fashionable exhibit, Silhouettes in Time, 100 Years of Fashion in Dundas.
The whole exhibit came into my attention 2 years ago because we're planning ahead 3 years now. And we decided to put to use our extensive collection at Dundas Museum and Archives. We have over 16,000 artifacts, and the fashion collection is pretty significant. So these are, I would say, just the tip of the iceberg of what we have in our storage and in terms of fashion collection.
The exhibit is home to a variety of clothing from the late 18th century to the late 19th century, ranging from dresses to suits and even a wedding dress or two. Whether you have a passion for fashion or you're interested in local history, check out Silhouettes in Time and see the evolution of how we dress, one piece of clothing at a time.
2 weeks ago, a waterline burst in the penthouse above F108, forcing students and staff out of the department. The repairs continue, but how are students and staff coping with the change?
As far as I know, the students are doing well. I haven't heard any complaints. We have all our classes still functioning. We found alternative studio space, and for myself personally, there hasn't been any disruption. I didn't need to use the main studio, which is still being cleaned up, but everything else is back to normal.
So it's tough right now, but we're going to make do with what we have, and you know what, hopefully it's for the best and everything works out next semester and we get our studio fixed up.
So it has really changed a lot, but it's a great learning experience because we know how to deal with that, and it's become more of a mobile sort of setup. So like we used to have the small studio as well as the big one, now everything's in the smaller one. So that's just become a little bit of a challenge because we'll book things. We'll book the equipment room or the studio in the equipment room for practice, but then we'll find out, oh, there's a class there.
Eugene Stodolak is a project manager at Mohawk College and is currently working on assessing the damage caused by the flood.
As we speak during this interview right now, we're actually doing the assessment on it. We believe, though, that based on Steve and the technician of the department reviewing a lot of the equipment, we were very fortunate where the water found its path was actually not on the equipment. So very, very little at this point in time has been damaged in there.
Full repairs to the department should be completed by January. Reporting for Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Josh Stewart.
Students have joined together in support of Mesopotamian refugees. They are camping outside various universities, including McMaster, to educate Canadians about the plight of refugees.
Students sleep outside to emulate the life of a refugee. So they are not allowed to shower, they are not allowed to eat any food that isn't donated, and they're not allowed to leave the campsite, and they must sleep in their tent for all 3 nights and 4 days to kind of show what a refugee goes through, what their living conditions are, and to just give a visual to people instead of just what written work tells you.
For many students, camping outside in the cold is a way to show solidarity with refugees.
I think that everything that's going on right now in the Middle East and the Mesopotamia area should be an issue that we all hold close to our hearts. I have a lot of friends whose families have been affected by this, who have to leave their homes and come here for a safe haven. And I just think it's the smallest thing that we could possibly do to try and raise money and raise awareness and make sure people understand what's going on over there and how it's affecting people here.
I know it's a great cause, so it's really driven me to become a sleeper and, you know, physically and for hands-on experience, like just go with the event.
Some of the students have a more personal connection.
Personally, my family is from Syria, and recently, or a couple months ago, our village was taken over by ISIS militants, and although it was empty, it has caused a lot of refugees coming from my villages. And in addition to that, my family has always been very active in raising money for Iraqis, Syrians who have fled, just because we do have such a personal connection to it. So that's really what inspired me.
Fundraising efforts last year raised $20,000. This year, they have raised the goal to $25,000. For Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Samantha Zeitz.
Canada has already committed to taking in thousands of Syrian refugees.
Let's take a look at what Mohawk College students think.
Coming to Canada as an immigrant is a good thing for the refugees, for the Syria or wherever they are from. It's actually a good opportunity for them to settle down here. But anyways, what's happening in Paris or wherever in the world, it's kind of disappointing because it's human versus human, humans killing humans.
I think there's always risk involved in international matters, letting refugees come into the country, but I think it's a necessary risk that we have to take.
Canada always help refugee, so even though probably it will be some delay, the criteria, but those people in Syria, they already face a horrible thing from ISIS.
I don't think it's an issue because everyone should be allowed into Canada. They should be gone through more security than everyone, but I don't think it's an issue.
I think that our country is built upon the blood, sweat, tears, and dreams of refugees and immigrants. And I think to deny those people entry into our country during their time of need is not only a crime, but also a crime against our identity as Canadians.
I say let them in. I don't really mind. I feel like refugees need all the help they can get, and so Canada's sort of the country that helps people like that, so I say let them all in.
With the both of us being Italian, we have a slight obsession with arancini.
And if you don't know what arancini is, there's a restaurant right here in Hamilton that you can go to check it out.
Arancini originated from Sicily, Italy. That's where we come from originally. And what they are, they're balls of rice, breaded, and then they have different fillings.
The arancini opened on September 5th of this year and is located at 653 Fennell Avenue East.
2 years ago, me and my wife, we made some arancini, and we thought it tasted really good. So we put up a website saying that we cater arancini, and then we got a good response. So we started just kind of growing from there, and then eventually we just opened up our own shop. Right now, we sell basically the classic Sicilian, which is filled with mozzarella, tomato sauce, green peas, and we have also different fillings such as mozzarella, spinach and ricotta, stuff like that.
Arancini is their signature dish, but not the only thing on the menu.
One specialty fry we have that people like is the Alfredo fries. It's basically French fries with Alfredo sauce and bruschetta on top. I have a Nutella arancini as well, so it's basically like a dessert risotto made with chocolate and smothered with Nutella.
The arancini is a unique fast food option.
I think it's a good option and alternative to other foods that are available in the area.
For Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Tori Velis. If a classical musician were to come to Mohawk, this is likely where they'd play.
Last week, one of Canada's top classical pianists visited Hamilton. Let's take a look.
It's been over 10 years since three-time Juno Award nominee David Gelbert performed at the Hamilton Conservatory for the Arts, but he was warmly received at his arrival back in the recital hall on Sunday. The Parisian focus of his concert was not directly connected to the tragic events of last week. Gelbert has been touring this show since he recorded the lighthearted CD last summer, meant for him to be a break from more arduous earlier work.
My previous recording had been the Goldberg Variation, so Bach, very brainy work and very serious, certainly, and very moving also. But I wanted to record music that would be a lot more lighthearted, a lot more fun and playful, and that's why I turned to these composers that I like so much.
Hearing the liveliness of his musical interpretation, it's hard not to long for the lightness of a Paris cabaret. Once Gelbert sets the scene for the Stravinsky ballet Petrushka, you can almost see the puppets arrive to play with him. Offstage, Gelbert is a music professor at the University of Ottawa, but he grew up in Rimouski, Quebec, where music actually found him, and his funky socks.
My parents were actually not musicians. However, they both loved classical music and they played it quite a bit around the house. So I was exposed to a lot of classical music, recordings certainly, And since I lived far from a big center, we had to drive a lot to go there and back, and we used to listen to a lot of music in the car. When I was 4, my dad asked me whether I wanted to take piano lessons, and I didn't really know what a piano was, so I said yes, and here we are.
The Hamilton Conservatory for the Arts welcomes artists like Gilbert from across Canada and around the world to grace its historic recital hall with music that inspires and entertains. The next concert in the professional series will feature pianist André Laplante at the end of January. Reporting for Mohawk College Journalism, I'm Lorraine Young.
There are many things you can do at the conservatory.
Lorraine Young has the inside scoop.
The Halloween spirit may have danced around classes at the Hamilton Conservatory for the Arts, but the atmosphere here is always about creativity and expression.
This building was built for the arts in 1903 and served the community for over 100 years. The arts are here in those walls, very deeply embedded. So we hear those voices, we hear those songs played by the musicians and other. Anytime you walk in, so you feel that different environment.
Wonder Woman teacher Lisa Emmons is a formally trained contemporary dancer taking her 6- and 7-year-old primary ballet students through their early training while she listens for the art.
I came to Hamilton about 4 years ago and I took a dance class here, and I absolutely loved the environment. I love the people here because they were really interested in the artistic practice of dance. And I love the building. It's like Hogwarts for the arts. I always expect one of the paintings to start talking to me.
Even beyond Halloween, the spirit of the Hamilton Conservatory for the Arts infuses young students with enthusiasm. Founder Vitek Winza says atmosphere is entirely relevant to encouraging creativity.
Our tagline of the conservatory is creating an environment, which I think creating the environment for the young people in the place when they learn arts and other stuff, in any place when they learn something, is one of the most important things, that they feel confident, they feel inspired, they feel, enhanced.
Teacher Denise Van Ness learned her craft at the National Ballet School, and today she teaches every level and form of ballet in a place that inspires her too.
I thoroughly enjoy working here. I love working with Vitek Winza, who is an amazing director. He really has a passion for children and the arts and making sure that everyone has the ability to take part in the arts. I truly love that passion that he has. And I too have come from a small town coming into the city, and all I want for my students is that they can come to a safe haven, learn a discipline that they absolutely love, find a passion that they have, and be able to promote that throughout their life and throughout other people's lives.
The spirit of dance is just one of the enchanted things happening at the Hamilton Conservatory for the Arts. Reporting for Ignite News, I'm Lorraine Young.
Wow, Christina, your outfit's on fleek.
On fleek? What does that mean?
It means you look good.
Well, why didn't you just say that?
I just did. But you're not the only one who doesn't know what that means. Let's take a look.
What do you think BAE means?
BAE? BAE? I know it's spelled B-A-E.
B-A-E.
Nope.
Richie Mama.
Okay.
Be at you? Do you know what ship means? Can you guess that one?
No, what? No.
Sometime.
I think it's a structure that floats on water.
Somewhere.
Ship? Yeah. A large boat.
Somehow.
Your ride.
Can you guess what on fleek means?
On fleek? Sounds like a French policeman. It sounds like a baby formula.
You're in on it? You're in on whatever they want to do?
I've never heard of any of these.
On point, looking good style and rocking it.
After their game against Fanshawe, the Mohawk men's volleyball team were undefeated.
John Rich has the story.
The Mountaineers won the battle of the first and second ranked teams in Ontario, defeating the Fanshawe Falcons 3-0. The team remains perfect on the season.
Oh man, I'm buzzing. That was such a great win, man. I'm so happy for the team. Found a way to win. That's our biggest competition, and we just brought it to them. Just execute a game plan, and I'm riding high, cloud 9, man.
The entire game was tight, but the third set offered up some tense moments for the team.
Yeah, I was very nervous. We knew if they took a set from us, it could go 5 pretty easily, so we really had to buckle down and get it done.
Eric Girard finished the game with 24 kills. He also had the game-sealing point.
It feels really good because at the end, everyone's just coming at you full force. Everyone just wants to give you a hug, and you just celebrate with the team, and it's awesome.
Coach Matthew Schnarr said he was pleased with the win, but that the team had to remain focused.
We still got to be a little bit more stubborn. I think we get a little bored sometimes. When things are working, you got to stick to it. But, I mean, that's a 1-2 battle coming out with a 3-0 win against the second-ranked team in Ontario, and we're still not playing our best ball yet. Kudos to my guys again.
Mohawk's next home game is Saturday against Niagara College in the David Braley Athletic and Recreation Center. Reporting for Mohawk College Journalism, I'm John Rich.
John joins me now. Now, John, the Mountaineers were handed their first loss on Tuesday. Can you tell us about it?
Absolutely. So the men's volleyball team has been off to a really hot start. They were 7-0 up until their last game with Redeemer. They now sit 7-1. They were ranked first in the province, so hopefully that stays the same next week.
Now, can you give us a little rundown of the other varsity sports here at Mohawk?
Absolutely. So the women's volleyball team right now, unfortunately, is unranked. The men's basketball, they're 5-0, so still off to a great start, ranked first in the province and fourth in the country. And with the women's basketball, they're ranked 9th.
All right, well, thanks for this. Now, the Arnie here at Mohawk is normally a place for students to go and hang out and eat some food, but last week it was open to tutoring. Ben Diamond has the story.
Last Wednesday, the Mohawk Learning Support Center took over the Arnie for the second edition of Carpe Noctem, a special night that offers students from all programs the chance to connect with tutors and receive help on all their schoolwork.
The reason why we started to do this whole series is because we realized that students really needed tutoring before exams started to really get them away from procrastinating. So we decided 3 weeks before exams, why not make students aware of the services available to them and really promote them to engage in those good study habits.
With over 240 attendees, the event offered help to students from almost all programs at the school.
I expected a little bit less people, but I'm surprised at how many people came out. I'm sure a lot of people here are also first-time goers like myself, and it looks like everybody's pretty excited to get some work done.
I think it's a great event to even just meet lower-level students in the first-year programs and make connections. And there's always a lot of questions that people have, and they're kind of afraid to ask, so it's a really great environment to foster that.
I think what the Writing Center does, it gives the student a connection to a certain tutor. They have a relationship. They feel comfortable asking questions which they may otherwise not feel comfortable asking in class, because it's all about communication, as we know. So verbal, written, you name it. They feel empowered after leaving the Writing Center that they've improved on their skills.
It's just a great way to take initiative and get up and go do something that you don't really want to do. It's a fun environment, and people here really want to help you succeed.
Having shown that Carpe Noctem is still in high demand, it's safe to say that this definitely won't be the last time around. For Mohawk Journalism, I'm Ben Diamond.
Here in the engineering department, there's a ton of great equipment for students to use.
Alex Smythe had the opportunity to talk to some students who get to use the equipment. Let's take a look.
Mohawk College is a leader in training students for a career in chemical engineering, with state-of-the-art equipment and education to provide students with everything they need to know for a career in the field.
This machine is called a UV vis spectrophotometer. So basically this machine can analyze samples using ultraviolet and visible light. So ultraviolet light is the light that is just above our visible spectrum that we can visibly see with our naked eye. What it does is basically analyze samples either qualitatively, so for their structure and their composition, or quantitatively, so you can analyze also the composition of a sample and just how much of something is present. So let's say you want to know how much salt is present in a sample or how much heavy metal ion is present. You can use this to give you a very accurate and precise reading.
Mohawk graduate Trisha Ranson describes how the GCMS gas chromatography mass spectrometer works.
It separates, identifies, and quantifies mixtures of gases or volatile liquids. So I could take a vial of a mixture, don't know what it is, we put it in, analyze it, and everything comes out here, tells us exactly what's in the mixture, what quantities is in the mixture, and just about any information you can get on any chemical in that mixture.
Another important machine in the lab is the bioreactor.
It is a three-component system consisting of a vessel, a bioconsole, and a control panel. Well, basically what we do is you add all your components to the reactor vessel and you turn it on, and the controller determines how to, or which substances to add to it, your acids and your bases, and ferments your product in there to create production of ethanol.
This is HPLC, which is the high performance liquid chromatography. This machine is used to separate the organic compound from a liquid mixture. In order to find it, we need to identify the compound based on the retention time. There are so many different applications for this instrument, such as chemical, environmental, bioscience, pharmaceutical, well as the consumer product.
Some equipment, like the auto titrator, is both crucial and as easy to use as pressing a button.
This is an atomic absorption and emission spectrometer. It can analyze solutions of, we'll say, metals. Metals absorb and emit light. So this can test both. It looks at the concentration of metals in solution. The light that's absorbed or emitted is proportional to the concentration in that solution.
The students of this program are getting a unique opportunity to work on equipment that is found in the industry.
This is even better than what they're using in the industry, to be perfectly honest. This is the best instrument in this lab, but it's a lot more technical than you actually see in industry. So it's nice to be able to work on something like this and then go out and see how lucky you are.
That's all for this week's edition of Ignite News. I'm Tori Blissimo.
And I'm Christina Costable. We'll see you next week, and stay on fleek.
And eat a bug, Hamilton.